5 matches. That's what FIFA gave a Qatari midfielder for a tackle that broke Ismaël Koné's leg. A challenge Canada's own coach admitted wasn't malicious. But when Lionel Messi planted studs into an Algerian calf, nothing. When Donnarumma shattered Musiala's ankle, nothing. No card, no ban. FIFA's worst nightmare just exploded. A double standard too documented to deny, and the proof starts with one tackle in Vancouver. June 18, 2026. The World Cup's group stage in Vancouver delivered a moment that would anchor every debate about FIFA discipline for years to come. In the 51st minute, with the score already tilting heavily in Canada's favor, Qatar's Assim Madibo lunged from behind at Ismaël Koné. His stud struck low, catching Koné's left leg and snapping both the tibia and fibula. The sound, as Canada coach Jesse Marsch later put it, was unmistakable. He could hear the bone break from the sideline. Koné was stretchered off, oxygen mask pressed to his face, his World Cup over. The medical statement confirmed the worst: double fracture, immediate surgery, no hope of return for the tournament. Referee Christian Garay, after conferring with VAR, produced a straight red card for Madibo, but the on-field dismissal was only the beginning. 6 days later, FIFA's disciplinary committee ruled 5-match suspension for serious foul play. It was the tournament's longest ban for a single act, enough to eliminate Madibo from any further participation and to extend into future FIFA fixtures if Qatar advanced. The decision landed swiftly, faster than many historic cases, and was justified on the grounds of player safety and the severity of the injury. No prior red card in Vancouver's World Cup history had drawn a sanction this severe. Yet, the facts behind the foul complicated the narrative. In the aftermath, Madibo entered the Canadian dressing room, head bowed, and apologized directly to Koné. Jesse Marsch, who witnessed the exchange, told reporters he did not believe there was malice in the tackle. "He came to apologize," Marsch said. "I don't think he meant such a gruesome tackle. I don't fault him for that." The gesture was rare, the remorse genuine. But FIFA's code, newly revised for 2026, set the threshold. Any tackle endangering an opponent's safety, especially with a catastrophic injury, demanded exemplary punishment. This was not a case of a notorious repeat offender or a player with a violent reputation. Madibo, a midfielder from a nation outside the traditional power structure, became the face of FIFA's zero-tolerance stance. The message was clear: break a leg, serve a multi-match ban, regardless of intent or apology. For Canada, a World Cup co-host and emerging football power, the loss of Koné was a blow to national pride and tournament hopes. For FIFA, the 5-match ban established a benchmark, one that, as the tournament unfolded, would be scrutinized against every missed card, every unpunished star, and every complaint that the rules bend for the game's biggest names. FIFA's disciplinary record reads like a patchwork rather than a rulebook. Luis Suarez's bite on Giorgio Chiellini in 2014 stands as the high watermark: 9 matches, a global ban, and headlines around the world. But just 4 years earlier, in the World Cup final, Nigel de Jong's flying boot caught Xabi Alonso square in the chest. The referee, Howard Webb, reached for yellow, not red. Webb later admitted he got it wrong, but FIFA never imposed an additional suspension. Then there's Zinedine Zidane's infamous headbutt in 2006, an act of violent conduct on the biggest stage, punished with a straight red and a 3-match ban. Each of these incidents involved either outright violence or clear intent, yet the punishments ranged from a caution to a multi-match suspension. Against that backdrop, a 5-game ban for a mistimed, if devastating tackle, one where even the opposing coach vouched for the player's remorse, sits awkwardly. The line between reckless and malicious, between famous and forgotten, seems to move with the names on the team sheet. FIFA's history of uneven responses is now the lens through which every new decision is judged. 2 days before the Madibo ban, another moment on a different continent sent a ripple through the World Cup's credibility. In Kansas City, Argentina faced Algeria in their opening match. In the 32nd minute, Lionel Messi's right boot came down on Isamandi's calf, studs exposed, as the Algerian captain shielded the ball deep in his own half. The contact was clear on replay, studs to the lower leg, a challenge that, by the letter of FIFA's law, falls under serious foul play. Referee Simon Marciniak, a veteran of the 2022 World Cup final, let play continue. No yellow, no red, not even a warning. Algeria's bench erupted. The incident drew immediate scrutiny from analysts and former officials. Patrick Ittrich, a respected former Bundesliga referee, watched the replay and was unequivocal. By the letter of the law, that is, a red. The Algerian Football Federation moved fast, filing a formal protest with FIFA's refereeing commission on June 20th. Their complaint cited not only the messy challenge, but a broader pattern of overlooked fouls, demanding disciplinary review. The official statement argued the tackle deserved a red card, pointing to FIFA's own disciplinary code, which mandates dismissal for any act endangering an opponent's safety. The debate quickly spilled into major sports outlets. ESPN analyst Ale Moreno cut to the heart of the matter. It plays along this narrative that great players get preferential treatment. Social feeds and broadcast panels echoed the sentiment. The world's most famous player, in a match with millions watching, escaped sanction for a studs-up challenge that would have ended the night for almost any lesser-known name. The contrast with the Madibo case was impossible to ignore, where one player faced a swift, career-altering ban, another, wearing the captain's armband for a global powerhouse, walked away without so much as a caution, despite expert consensus that the laws of the game were breached. In that gap, the question of equal justice under FIFA's watch grew sharper. June 22nd in Dallas, the World Cup spotlight swung to Argentina's meeting with Austria. Another test of FIFA's disciplinary standards, and another flashpoint for accusations of selective enforcement. In the 38th minute, Lionel Messi etched his name above Miroslav Klose as the all-time World Cup top scorer. But as the ball hit the net, Austrian players surrounded referee Amin Omar, demanding a review. The controversy wasn't about the finish, but the build-up. Alexis McAllister's challenge on Xaver Schlager, a tangle of legs that left the Austrian midfielder on the turf. Omar waved play on. VAR reviewed the contact, but concluded it was too marginal for a pitch-side check. The record-breaking goal stood, unchallenged on the scoreboard, but not in the minds of those on the wrong end of the decision. The temperature rose again in the second half. Lautaro Martinez, chasing a loose ball, swung his leg toward Konrad Laimer. The motion was quick, the contact unclear, but Laimer recoiled and looked to the officials for protection. No card, no intervention, no pause for review. For Austria, the sense of injustice grew with every minute. Laimer, usually measured in his post-match comments, let his frustration spill over. He accused Omar of allowing Argentina to disrupt play and foul without consequence, arguing that a different standard applied when the reigning champions were involved. His words echoed in newsrooms across Europe. They can do what they want, and nothing happens. That frustration wasn't limited to Austria. Coaches and players from smaller nations watched these moments unfold and saw a familiar pattern. The threshold for intervention seemed to move, always out of reach when the blue and white shirts were involved. For every harsh ban handed down to a player from outside football's elite, there was a high-profile escape. A star's challenge ignored, a champion's aggression left unpunished. The perception of a double standard, once whispered, was now voiced openly on the world stage. The 2025 Club World Cup in Florida offered a strikingly similar dilemma, this time far from the glare of a national flag. Paris Saint-Germain's Gianluigi Donnarumma charged out to meet a through ball, colliding at full speed with Bayern Munich's Jamal Musiala. The impact left Musiala with a fractured fibula and a dislocated ankle, injuries confirmed by Bayern's medical team and echoed in the club's official statement. Yet, as Musiala was helped from the field, the referee kept his cards in his pocket. No foul was called, no review, no sanction, not even a post-match citation. Musiala himself, when asked, dismissed any notion of blame. "There's no one to blame," he said, thanking supporters for their concern. The absence of malice was clear, but so was the outcome. A devastating injury, a star player sidelined, and no disciplinary action taken. This was not a World Cup, not a clash of nations, but a FIFA-run competition governed by the same code. The pattern, harsh punishment for some, total leniency for others was no longer confined to international football. It now spanned every level FIFA oversees, raising uncomfortable questions about what, or who, determines the line between accident and accountability. A 5-match ban lands on a player from a lesser-known team after a reckless, if unintended, leg-breaking tackle. In the same era, a clash involving football's elite leaves another player with a broken leg, yet draws no card, no review, not even a single match on the sidelines. These outcomes stand side by side, exposing a gap that cannot be explained by the rulebook alone. FIFA's code claims universality. Dangerous play merits severe sanction, regardless of who commits it. But when the consequences fall hardest on the uncelebrated, while stars and powerhouses walk away untouched, the question is no longer about individual justice. It's about whether FIFA's authority rests on consistent principle or shifting privilege. Who, in the end, does world football's governing body really choose to punish? When justice depends on a player's passport, credibility crumbles. As the next World Cup approaches, every disciplinary call will echo far beyond the pitch. FIFA's authority stands on trial. Fairness, not fame, is the only test that matters. What do you think? Is football's referee truly blind?